Just a few follow-up questions, and I'll yield to my ranking member, and I think Dr. Jackson had a question or two. I've read both of the statements that have been submitted by the respective countries. They're very, very good and comprehensive. They both start out from the onset, the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, extends its deep thanks to the United States of America and President Donald Trump for facilitating the December 25th Peace and Prosperity Agreement. For the first time in history, they write, a U.S. president has taken a personal interest in ending Rwandan-backed aggression in the war in eastern DRC. Without objection, that full statement will be made a part of the record. And then the Rwandans, through their distinguished ambassador, write, Rwanda extends its profound gratitude to President Trump and his administration for prioritizing the Rwanda-DRC peace process, and then points out that the accords represent serious progress towards permanent stability, security, prosperity in the Great Lake regions. And they thank everyone from Secretary Rubio, starting with President Trump, Vance, Masoud Bulus, and others for making this possible. Again, beautiful statements in large part. We're asking that they just implement them, be true to your word. And let me just ask you, if I could, the church groups, and I meet with the church groups all the time, both countries. Senko, I've met with them for decades. They, you know, there's a great deal of faith in each of these countries, people who really do believe in God, and they do believe in the power of forgiveness and mercy and reconciliation, maybe most of all, reconciliation, because that's needed more than anything else. I wonder how well we are working with them to try to get them, the church groups, to do more. You know, I remember meeting many times with Rick Warren from the Saddleback Church, who had a very strong personal relationship with Kagame. And Jim Inhofe, the senator, he used to tell me how he would pray with President Kagame. We sometimes disagreed, but I would say, peace, just tell him there's more that could be done. And the onus does lie with him and the other president, Takashedi, to do more. And I'm wondering, if others, Senator Rounds, I know, has a good, robust relationship with Paul Kagame. I think the more people who are raising the issue that they listen to, maybe they listen to our subcommittee, maybe not. Maybe they listen to me or my good friend, Ms. Jacobs, but we're not going to go away, and they won't go away. They may have a particular influence on saying, let's end the hostilities and end the atrocities, and it can happen. I can't thank you enough for your leadership, and again, the president, as is noted in this one statement from DR Congo, first president. I remember arguing with the Clinton administration repeatedly about how they missed it on the atrocities being committed with the genocide. And then even after it was all over, so-called, there were people following people into the bush to kill them. We had very, very good witnesses come in and tell us how Refugees International, for example, it's not over. They're hunting people down still. Why is Washington turning the page? So I don't think the page at all will be turned here until there is peace. And then we need to sustain that peace and that prosperity as best we can. So, and I'm wondering, we know that both sides agree that the FDLR is a problem. Who benefits from the status quo? Maybe you could speak to that. And again, I can't ask enough that the faith community, I remember having meetings in South Sudan repeatedly with the president there about how it was excluding the church, and they had all these ideas on how they could promote peace and reconciliation, and they had an arm's length approach with Salva Kiir, or he had it with them. I said, please, Mr. President, you have an asset here in the church community that is second to none. They love people, even those who persecute them. Why not utilize their good offices? So I hope that that's being done very robustly. Bring them into that. I know you are, but whatever more could be done, and get more of our members of Congress who have these personal relationships with people like Kagame to do more. And so if you could speak to that, then I'll yield to my ranking member and to Dr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you're absolutely right. We greatly appreciate your efforts and the efforts of everyone who has contacts with both DRC and Rwandan representatives to please echo the call for implementation of the Washington Accords. That's the most important thing we can do, is to continue to draw attention to the promises that were made to President Trump and enforce the importance of implementation. So I would say your point on faith-based groups, we of course recognize and appreciate the important role that faith organizations play in both the DRC and Rwanda. I think that they will play a very important role in upcoming national dialogues, and we certainly hope that through the African Union's efforts especially, their voices can be incorporated along with civil society and political opposition to create a real, genuine conversation where we can discuss the governance issues that we hope to resolve, especially in Eastern DRC. And the governance issues will be obviously discussed in the Doha track as well in future negotiations. I would say also that faith-based groups are very important in our foreign assistance implementation. We obviously work very closely with several groups in the DRC and really appreciate their support as we continue to deliver this life-saving assistance. I would also say, to your point about the FDLR, the FDLR is a legitimate threat. We certainly are not denying that. They cannot be allowed to operate in Eastern DRC. So we are certainly emphasizing to the DRC government that neutralizing the FDLR, as they have committed under these agreements, is absolutely essential, and we need to see more steps taken to do that. Now, while the FDLR is a legitimate threat, we do not consider the advance that we have seen from M23 backed by the RDF to be targeted at really neutralizing the FDLR. It has gone beyond the areas where we would see that interaction. So we, while we recognize the importance of neutralizing the FDLR, we must say that that is more a matter of the DRC not fully implementing its obligations under the agreements, but this recent advance that we have seen with RDF involvement has been a breach of Rwanda's obligations. So there's a difference in how we're handling those two issues.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary.